Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Thank you very much for the Happy Hanukkah wishes as well. Merry Christmas to everyone watching. And I will be having a live stream, Christmas Eve is this evening, so a Christmas Eve / Christmas Day live stream, because it'll probably start a little later this evening, so much later this evening, my time, West Coast time. But anyway, anyone who states that Trump worked with Russia, that has already been completely obliterated. He never worked with Russia. So the articles of impeachment, the current articles of impeachment, because they're going to try to impeach him again, because they want Don McGahn to testify, but they haven't yet proven or explained why Don McGahn or Bolton or anyone else needs to testify. They already had impeachment witnesses. They failed to prove their case that Trump withheld military assistance because he was trying to interfere in the next election. They're the ones who cheat and then blame Russia for cheating Bernie Sanders. They weren't just embarrassing emails that the Russians hacked because they were so frightened of Clinton. That's already been completely obliterated, that narrative. The Mueller probe found no evidence that Trump worked with Russia. That is a fact. They tried to connect dots for 3 years. They set up and framed Trump and everyone around him. These are very corrupt, insidious intelligence chiefs, the same type of intelligence officials that got us into the never-ending military interventions and quagmires of Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld that President Obama continued with Libya. If you have anybody right now who says that, well, it's obvious that Trump tried to withhold military assistance to interfere in the election to go after his direct political rival, they're regurgitating the same nonsense told by people who swore up and down that Trump worked with Russia. At one point, Trump worked with Russia to hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus giving Clinton the popular vote. That was Russian interference, giving Clinton the popular vote, but ruining her chances in swing states. Even though in 2015, in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon, I stated that Clinton was unelectable because she would lose swing states. The articles are below in the pinned comment. It's one of my first segments on this channel, but there's a lot to take in. Trump did not withhold military assistance to investigate Biden. Biden is not Trump's direct political rival. In the minds of Democrats, because the 30,000 people on the debate stage are so weak and inept, aside from Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang, who are great, but Democrats don't want anything that disrupts their singular train of thought. What's the difference between Amy Klobuchar and Joe Biden and Senator Cory Booker and Beto O'Rourke? Not much. Not much. Elizabeth Warren is there to split Bernie's movement into two. They've already cheated Bernie Sanders. I explained that in my segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. But Trump did not withhold military assistance. There is no evidence that he withheld military assistance to investigate his direct political rival. That's number one. Number two, stating that he withheld military assistance to go after Biden based on the hearsay and gossip of people who do not have firsthand knowledge. So all the impeachment witnesses, including the scholars, couldn't name a crime. They didn't have direct knowledge that he withheld the military assistance because he was afraid of Biden. There's no documents showing that he withheld military assistance because he was afraid of Biden. Anyone stating that is just regurgitating John Brennan, MSNBC, CNN, Clapper, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, propaganda, DNC spin. Anyone who believes that, even if they're a Bernie Sanders supporter. So you have people who stated vote for Clinton in 2016 or vote for Clinton in swing states. Those people, a lot of them are saying that he tried to interfere in the election. That's predicated upon the belief that he had already interfered in the election, Trump, by working with Russia. That's a bunch of nonsense. First of all, we have Politico. Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire. Kiev officials are scrambling to make amends with President-elect after quietly working to boost Clinton. Kenneth P. Vogel and David Stern, January 11, 2017. Donald Trump wasn't the only presidential candidate whose campaign was boosted by officials of a former Soviet bloc country. Well, we don't even know if Russia hacked the DNC, okay? That's not my statement. That's Annex B of the ODNI report. Estimative language consists of two elements. So now I'm going from that Politico article that states there were DNC operatives who reached out to Ukrainian officials to get dirt on Trump. So Trump has every single right to investigate the DNC's role in interfering in the election by trying to get dirt on his campaign, including Manafort. He has every single right to research or to ask another country to investigate. It doesn't even matter if you view him or a person views him to be Trump's direct political rival. If Biden engaged in wrongdoing, he engaged in wrongdoing. Nobody says, well, Mueller is interfering in the election. And nobody said, well, Christopher Steele was interfering in the election, or Alexander Downer was interfering in the election, or Joseph Mifsud was interfering in the election. These are all, or CrowdStrike was interfering in the election. These are all people or entities that Democrats used to interfere in numerous elections, 2016, the midterms, and 2020. When Trump goes after them, they say he's interfering. When they go after Trump, they're never interfering. But here, Annex B, estimative language consists of two elements: judgments about the likelihood of developments or events occurring at levels of confidence in the sources and analytical reasoning supporting the judgments. Judgments are not intended to imply that we have proof that shows something to be a fact. Again, the notion that Russia hacked the DNC and that's certain is nonsense. That is not certainty. That's an assessment of people who are not only biased, they can't stand and they have utter contempt for Trump. Why would you trust the same intelligence community that's been wrong throughout the Bush administration, wrong throughout Vietnam, wrong at every point in between Vietnam, Bush's quagmires, and President Obama's intervention in Libya, and recently with Facebook ads? Why would you trust these people? Their number one goal is to deceive. First and foremost, oftentimes, the United States public, then other countries. But here, they're literally telling you judgments are not intended to imply that we have proof that shows something to be a fact. Assessments are based on collected information, which is often incomplete or fragmentary, as well as logic, argumentation, and precedence. Judgments of likelihood. This is Annex B of the ODNI report, page 13. Everything Trump says, when you have PolitiFact or you have other, Trump says without evidence that it's been commonly known that Russia interfered in the election. No, it's the intelligence officials state that Russia interfered. They are literally stating with high confidence that Russia interfered, but they also state that high confidence generally indicates that judgments are based on high quality information from multiple sources. High confidence in a judgment does not imply that the assessment is a fact or a certainty. Such judgments might be wrong. They are literally saying they could be wrong about Russian interference. They are literally stating that. Now, when Dr. Fiona Hill during the impeachment proceedings states that, well, it's been concluded by the intelligence community and confirmed by the intelligence community and bipartisan congressional leaders, she is saying that the high confidence to moderate confidence assessment has been confirmed and has been accepted by Congress and the intelligence community. So what? That's basically saying it has been confirmed and it is without a shadow of a doubt, and it is an absolute fact that people believe Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. Well, that's your opinion. It doesn't matter if people have confirmed and concluded and are completely in line with your viewpoint, which can't be proven. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. I happen to think Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James, but that's my opinion. Your opinion might be different. So the intelligence community is stating that they are not certain. Number one. Number two, Kenneth P. Vogel. This is December 8th, 2019, Biden blames his staff for not flagging conflict concerns about his son's Burisma post. Nobody warned me about a potential conflict of interest. They should have told me. At least one aide reportedly raised the issue with him. Kenneth P. Vogel. Amos Hochstein, the Obama administration's special envoy for energy policy, raised the matter with Biden, but did not go so far as to recommend that Hunter leave the board. Doesn't matter. He raised the matter with Biden, so Biden lied about that. The conflicts of interest are obvious. When everyone says there are no conflicts of interest, Biden is fine. He's just going after Biden. Democrats can stick their head in the sand like an ostrich, or cover their ears all they want and just yell out there are no conflicts of interest. Anyone with a functioning brain cell knows that there are conflicts of interest. Here's more. Joe Biden says he doesn't know what his son was doing for a controversial Ukrainian gas company. He doesn't want to know more because I trust my son. If you want to talk about problems, let's talk about Trump's family. Well, let's compare Trump's family to Biden's family. Okay. Has anyone in Trump's family been accused of allegedly smoking narcotics in a gentleman's club? Okay. Nothing wrong with going to a gentleman's club. Okay. Smoking narcotics, I'm trying to be nice in the way that we explain. Smoking narcotics and allegedly being accused of a utensil used by individuals. We can go on. I'm trying to be YouTube friendly. Okay, how many drug addicts are in Trump's family? How about 0? How many in Biden's? Now, again, that's not an indication. I don't want to be, disrespectful. I say that with all due respect if you want to, because Biden just said, look, you know what, let's compare families. Let's compare families. How many times has Trump forced the ouster, the removal of a prosecutor in another country looking into the corporation funneling millions to Jared Kushner or Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr.? No. Even Hillary Clinton stated that Trump is a good father, and this is all for Clinton anyway. Clinton's going to be nominee. Biden is not Trump's direct political rival. Biden isn't Trump's direct political rival. Clinton is. And anyone who furthers this notion is basically like, I don't really care. You have certain people who are like, yeah, Bernie Sanders, he's a great guy. He should be president. He's being cheated right now with this. There are people who are too stupid to realize this impeachment is actually cheating Bernie Sanders. Because Biden is not Trump's direct political rival. Clinton is. Clinton is going to be nominee. But even if you don't believe that, the conflicts of interest that should be investigated between Biden, his son, and Burisma are fair game. If you say that they're not fair game, you're helping the 1% that Bernard Sanders is trying to go up against. But even Bernard Sanders isn't really going up against the 1% because he continued the nonsensical theory that Russia interfered in the election. Why? To harm Hillary Clinton. By informing the country with the DNC emails that he was cheated, thus giving Clinton the popular vote. Kenneth Vogel, if Biden is elected, his family will not be engaged in any foreign business because of what's happened in this administration. What? Oh, so, okay. That's Kenneth P. Vogel. But you have, that's New York Times journalist Kenneth P. Vogel. There's also a whole list of tweets where he talks about the obvious conflicts of interest and the obvious reasons why anyone would want to investigate. So Kenneth Vogel is a great journalist. John Solomon at The Hill is a great journalist. Let's go ahead. Kenneth P. New. Okay, the Bidens are, this is Kenneth P. Vogel, May 1st, 2019. The Bidens are entangled in a Ukrainian corruption scandal. Joe Biden pushed Ukraine to fire a prosecutor seen as corrupt, but the prosecutor had opened a case into a company that was paying Hunter Biden. The Bidens say they never discussed it. How can this not be grounds for investigation? This was a quid pro quo. If you don't believe me, here's Biden bragging and boasting about a quid pro quo. Here he is.
I remember going over convincing our team or others to convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to the press conference. I said, no, I said, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him.
So notice that within this quid pro quo admission, the Ukraine actually pushed back and said, you have no authority. They did not agree with Biden regarding Shokin, the prosecutor. Yet, even though Ukraine told the vice president of the United States of America, not a Ukrainian official, so Biden is not a Ukrainian official. He is telling other officials within the Ukraine what to do with their country. They push back naturally, like we would, like any country would. And they said, no, Biden, you have no authority. Then Biden says, go call the president. So does President Obama, is he going to back this up? Where is the proof or the evidence that it was U.S. foreign policy that the prosecutor should be fired? I don't care what the New York Times thinks. I don't care what Republican senators think. I don't care what other people who are Ukraine experts think, that this man wasn't going after corruption. That's irrelevant. Vice President Biden is stating the defense for Biden firing Shokin is that this was U.S. foreign policy. Where's the proof? Because Biden just implicated President Obama. Did President Obama tell Biden? Well, of course not. So why did he? Well, I'm saying of course not because nobody on the Democratic side will link President Obama to anything, even knowing Clinton owning a server, or anything to do with his administration, or any investigation of Trump. They never say Obama investigated Trump. They say Comey did. Anything that happened that's controversial under President Obama's administration, he had no knowledge of and he had no connection to. Anything that happens in Trump's administration, it's directly because of Trump. We need to hear from Don McGahn. So this is a really, really important moment. So Ukraine pushed back, and then what happened? Check it out.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here, and I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money. Then you have, going back to the Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire, a Ukrainian-American operative who was consulting for the Democratic National Committee met with top officials in the Ukraine embassy in Washington in an effort to expose ties between Trump, top campaign aide Paul Manafort, and Russia. Okay, so there's another Politico article saying this person, Chalupa, is really, really interested in testifying. Why hasn't she testified? Because they don't want her anywhere near a testimony. She would be one of the witnesses if they had to have witnesses, along with Biden and along with the vice president and the intelligence operative, who, by the way, the intelligence operative has ties to Biden. So you have all of these conflicts of interest. Democrats, let's see. Okay. Washington Examiner. Joe Biden worked with Whistleblower when he was vice president. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so that's not you're impeaching somebody based on a person who blew the whistle, who was an intelligence operative, like John Kiriakou stated, not a person blowing the whistle, who worked with Biden. And then you have Schiff got early account of accusation. Okay. Schiff, factcheck.org. Schiff wrong on whistleblower contact. Representative Adam Schiff, chair of the Intelligence Committee, wrongly implied that his committee had no contact with the man. We have not spoken directly when the whistleblower had in fact reached out to a committee aide before filing a complaint. So you have this wonderful person who blew the whistle, who reached out to Schiff and worked with Biden. And this is all documented. Then you have documented a DNC operative reaching out to the Ukraine to get dirt on Manafort. Then you have documented conflicts of interest in terms of the vice president's son getting millions of dollars from a corporation that was being investigated by the prosecutor he forced out, which, by the way, the Ukraine didn't want the person forced out. Then you have, oh my God, how come he brought up the CrowdStrike? Then you have the Daily Mail exclusive. Cybersecurity experts who were first to conclude that Putin hacked presidential election abandoned some of their claims against Russia and refused to cooperate with Congress. What was one of the claims? This is by Alana Goodman, DailyMail.com, April 5th, 2017. CrowdStrike used unproven claims by a pro-Putin blogger to wrongly conclude Russian hackers had helped to virtually wipe out Ukrainian artillery. Okay. So there are questions regarding the DNC outsourced firm. But then you get back to battle over McGahn testimony heightens Trump impeachment drama. A legal dispute over testimony from former White House counsel has big implications for a Trump impeachment trial in the Senate. They didn't take this to court. The ongoing battle so they want McGahn to testify for what? We don't know. They've wanted McGahn to testify during the Mueller investigation, but they didn't use any specific indictment or allegation found within the Mueller report within the latest articles of impeachment. So now they're just continuing their never-ending quest to get McGahn to testify. And rightfully so, Trump invokes executive privilege. So what's the problem? They're going to impeach him again because they're inundated within conflicts of interest and their own nonsensical they're inundated with corruption on their end. Here, this is the Washington Post. Let's see. Chalupa, DNC staff member, political article cited by Johnson, so that's the article I read, I believe, says a Ukrainian-American Democratic operative, Alexander Chalupa, began looking into Trump administration official Paul Manafort ties to Ukraine. Politician Viktor Yanukovych. Chalupa was hired as a consultant to the DNC during the 2016 campaign. Okay, she continued her research into Manafort on her own. Don't you love this? Do you think that they would then, after she left the DNC, she continued on her own? Do you think they would allow that kind of response or that kind of defense for a Republican operative who happened to reach out to Russia to get in dirt on Hillary? Oh, well, I'm not part of the RNC anymore. I reached, sometimes with the help of Ukrainian officials. And she said she sometimes shared her findings with officials of the DNC and Clinton campaign. So she shared her information with the Clintons campaign. But former Clinton campaign officials said they never received information from Chalupa. The role of the embassy officials, the Ukrainian embassy officials, is unclear. Chalupa told Politico that officials at the Ukrainian embassy were helpful in providing guidance. Don't you love it? They can't, if it's them reaching out to another country, they can't do any wrong. Whether it's this or the Steele dossier, but if it's Trump, he withheld military assistance, don't you know, because he was afraid of Biden. They have no evidence of anything. They have no evidence of anything with Trump. And if they, let's put it this way, if they use the same logic they used against Trump, or if they use the same logic that they used to try to implicate Trump with the 85 donors who gave $156 million into the Clinton Foundation and then met with Clinton, why did they give that money? The rebuttal is you can't prove that uranium won and the 85 donors and countries with weapons deals and UBS and Boeing and the money raised from the earthquake in Haiti. You can't prove that was all about access to Clinton. Well, can you prove that Trump was worried about Biden and therefore he withheld military assistance? Number one, they can't even prove that Biden doesn't have conflicts of interest. Number two, they certainly can't prove that Trump withheld military assistance for the sole purpose of interfering in the next election because of investigating a vice president that has zero conflicts of interest, because he does. And number two, Biden said he fired the prosecutor because the prosecutor wasn't engaged in conflicts of wasn't investigating corruption. Well, that's the same excuse that Trump gives. He wanted to review the aid before it got to the Ukraine, not to force an investigation of Biden, because President Zelensky already states that he wasn't pressured. And the Trump administration wanted to review the hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure that it got into the right hands, the government, not individuals. You don't believe Trump, but you believe Biden. Oh, okay. And you don't believe Trump, but you believe Clinton, that the money going from Uranium One into the Clinton Foundation had nothing to do with the sale of uranium. So Democrats have no leg to stand on. They're the biggest hypocrites on the planet. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. This is really important. And ladies and gentlemen, they're going to impeach Trump again based on hearsay, gossip, innuendo, assessment, evaluation, and opinions of everyone from intelligence community chiefs to DNC operatives to companies outsourced by the DNC to the viewpoint of pundits that believe that Biden is Trump's direct political rival. Trump doesn't care about Biden. Trump would obliterate Biden's campaign. So people say, oh, H.A., Clinton's not running. No, Clinton's going to be nominee. So she's going to run, but if she doesn't run and she becomes nominee, oh well. She'll be nominee. It ain't going to be Biden. There's zero support for Biden. The notion that Biden is actually the front runner is part of cheating Bernie Sanders again. There's zero. Do you think if you were a wealthy donor and you were one of the people who helped give $1.2 billion to Clinton and she lost to Trump, who spent $600 million, you're going to give millions or hundreds of thousands to Biden? You think, okay, so Biden is going to give these people access? Biden is going to win? Biden is going to give them the best chance to win against Trump? No. That's nonsense. Clinton will lose again, like I said, in 2017. She gives them the best chance to win. It doesn't matter what people think of Clinton on the left. Democrats don't care what the loudest voices on the left have to say. You know when you hear these pundits who are like, yeah, we're going to call out the DNC. Who cares? You're going to vote Clinton anyway. The only people who count on the left are people who don't vote for Clinton, who don't vote for the nominee. Then they can say whatever they want. But if you work for a giant corporation full of pundits that talk about, you're going to Medicare for all. Well, if you vote for Clinton, or let's just say they're going to vote for the DNC nominee anyway. You don't get venture capital funding if you don't vote if you don't push the most pragmatic liberal ideology. You can say Medicare for all and go Bernie all you want, but when push comes to shove, when it's fourth and goal, you're going to, like one pundit, vote for Clinton in swing states, which is essentially straddling the fence saying vote for Clinton. Because if you're going to say vote for Clinton in swing states and Jill Stein in states that don't count, you're not making a stand. It's a cowardly move. And then when you say vote for Clinton outright, like you will in 2020, you're not helping anyone. You're just telling the DNC, cheat Bernie again, and we'll vote for you anyway. I don't care. The left can do what it wants. I'm voting Trump in 2020, and I explain why Bernie Sanders voters should vote Trump in 2020. That's below in the pinned comment. But all of this is nonsense. They're going to impeach, very likely, Pelosi's going to impeach Trump again, which is going to be hilarious. And it's all going to be based on zero evidence he committed a crime, zero evidence he did anything for political gain. Trump doesn't think like Democrats. Democrats are petrified that any investigation exposes them. Trump's been investigated based on fabricated dossiers. You think he cares about Biden? You think he's really going to go ahead and try to withhold aid to investigate Biden to interfere in the election? Only an imbecile would further that notion. And there's a lot of those people. There's no evidence, furthermore, that nowhere does it say anywhere Trump will withhold aid because I'm afraid of Biden. I want to interfere in the election. However, there is evidence where Biden literally states, you're not going to get the $1 billion in loan guarantees. And then the Ukraine pushes back and he says, go ahead. I have the president behind me. You fire that prosecutor. Well, that is literally quid pro quo. And they're okay with it. They're like, he had every right to. Oh, but Trump didn't have a right to withhold the military assistance to ensure that it didn't go into the wrong hands. Gotcha. Okay. Give me your thoughts below. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'll be doing a segment later on, live stream. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.